Hey you guys, it is me, Nadiatherose, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I am done. The Nclex is over. I'm so happy. So to get right into the good stuff, I took my Nclex yesterday. It cut off at 77 questions and it was a coin flip. I really didn't feel super confident, but I didn't really feel bad. I kind of had some hope. I didn't cry and I just drove home. So I woke up this morning at 8 o'clock and I checked and my name was on the Board of Nursing website and I had a license number, and so I was really excited about that. And it's finally done, so I passed. So now that you guys know that I passed, let me tell you a little bit about how I studied and my timeline. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I got done with school July 29th. I had already submitted my paperwork the day I passed the exit HESI. I was just waiting on my school to send to the Board of Nursing that I had passed this program. So they sent it, the Board of Nursing received it on August 10th and I got my ATT on August 10th. So when I went to book, they had a date for the 11th. Obviously I was not prepared. I had just got back from vacation. I didn't study at all on vacation. I knew I had to start work on August 30th, so I had to go ahead and take it. I signed up, so that was August 10th, and I signed up to take my Nclex on August 24th. Now today is actually August 24th. Some things happened, some kind of shady stuff went down that I had to move my Nclex up one day. It wasn't a big deal, so I took it yesterday, which was August 23rd, a Monday. So what did I use to study? I only used Uworld from August 10th to August, I didn't study on the 23rd, so from August 10th to August 22nd, I only use Uworld. And you guys, if you follow my channel, you know I'm a struggling student. I am not the smartest person in my class by any means. And I was still able to pass only using Uworld. Now, I will say Uworld is a bit expensive. I shouldn't tell you guys, but I'm not gonna lie. This is what I did. Me and a friend of mine bought Uworld together. We bought the 90-day pass for $199, I believe. And it came with 2 assessments and the qbank. I passed my HESI before my friend did. She passed a little bit after me. So we knew that she wasn't going to be eligible to take her Nclex for a couple of weeks after me. So we decided to just go half and half on it. She paid 100, I paid 100. I used one assessment. She is going to use the other assessment. Now, when you're doing something like that, I would highly recommend doing it with someone that you trust, because if they hop on and use those 2 assessments, that's it. Like, you can't use it anymore. It's gone. There's also a feature on there where you can clear out the qbank. So today I need to go in and clear it out so that when she hops on, it'll all be just her data and stuff. So I'm not gonna lie, let's talk about that assessment on Uworld. It sucks. No, I'm just playing, you guys. It doesn't suck, but it did make me feel some type of way. So I took my Uworld assessment on Saturday morning because I knew that I had to take my Nclex on Monday and I really wanted to chill on Sunday. And I got borderline, which kind of disheveled me because it was like, oh, they don't know if I'm gonna pass. They don't know if I'm not gonna pass. And at this point, I had done 42% of the qbank and I was in the 48th percentile. A little part of me was like, oh, I should push my date back. But honestly, I was like, if I fail, I fail. I'm just ready to get it over with and let that be that. So if you get borderline on Uworld, don't sweat it. My friends tried to tell me the same thing. They were like, girl, don't sweat it, but I sweated it. I had only completed 42% of the qbank. I was in the 48th percentile. Like, I didn't have exceptional grades and I still passed the Nclex. So how I did the Uworld was I tried to do 75 questions a day. I did not always hit that goal. Sometimes I could get up to like maybe 100 questions, but honestly, it's all about, and I know I'm like the 50,000th person to say that, but it is about reading the rationales and making it stick. Some people have really in-depth study plans. I don't. I really don't. I just go unused, all subjects. Let's do it. And I do my 75, and that's what I did. It wasn't I didn't have a day where I'm going to sit here and do adult health, or I'm going to sit here and do fundamentals, or I'm going to sit here and do leadership. I just did. Now, I will say, when I went to do my borderline assessment, I scored pretty low on pediatrics and leadership. So on Sunday, I did do maybe like 40 questions of leadership and maybe 20 questions of pediatrics, just so it would be fresh on my brain and that I could just see how I was doing in that area. But other than that, I didn't do any specialized subjects to study. And I only did Uworld. I only had like 13 days to study, so I did them when I could. You know, I'm a wife, I have 2 kids, and I couldn't just dedicate myself to 10 hours a day. I could do what I could do. Now, I will say I'm a pretty laid back person. I don't get test anxiety. So I didn't really have an issue with this. This is how I studied all of nursing school. Yes, I struggled all through nursing school, so I should have known better, but it's just hard to change my ways. So I was a pretty laid back studier. Now, I do have a friend who's like uptight studying, like she has to do 60 questions a day on this subject, 20 on this subject, and it works for her. She passed the exit HESI the same day I did. It really worked for her. But at this point, if you're watching this video, you're getting ready to take the Nclex, you know what studying works for you. So I wouldn't switch it for the Nclex. Like, if you're a laid back studier who can probably get away with doing 2 or 3 hours or 75 questions or 50 questions a day, do that. Like, do you. And if you're uptight and you feel like you're going to have total panic attack if you don't get your study plans done, do your study plans. Like, don't switch it for the Nclex. So my cousin, who graduated nursing school in December of 2020, she also recommended that I watch the Mark Klimek reviews. Now, he is good, but I'm gonna be honest, I only ever got through the acid-based one, and that wasn't even for Nclex. I was watching that for HESI, and I just don't have time to like listen to anybody talk. My house is loud. I just rather be listening to something else. I just couldn't sit there and listen to him. He's on YouTube. The videos are on YouTube. I can link a video in the description box, or matter of fact, I'll pop it up right here. This is the link that I use, but like I said, I only listened to the acid-based one. And it really did help. So I'm sure all his videos are great. I just didn't have the time or the interest to really sit through the videos. Now, I know I said I only use Uworld, but I will say that if you are on TikTok, I highly recommend following Nexusnursing, and that's Nexusnursing. She posts a lot of Nclex questions with the rationales, and even when I wasn't studying but I was just scrolling, and I follow her, so she's on my follow page, and her questions would pop up, and she did explain a lot of things that I didn't know. And I will say, just from following her, 2 of the questions that she used, I had very similar questions on my Nclex. So I highly do recommend her. Obviously, I wouldn't like pump her up as like a study tool, like, yeah, just get on TikTok all day and listen to her. Like, no, I really think Uworld is better than watching her TikToks, but her TikToks are really, really good. So I'm sorry if this video isn't as detailed as some people needed it to be, but that's really what I did. I did as many Uworld questions as I could, but they really ranged from maybe 60 to 90 a day. I only had 13 days to study. I didn't use all 13 days because, one, I didn't do it Sunday, the day before I took my Nclex. I did a few questions, but not really studying. And then I think that other Saturday and Sunday, I didn't do any questions either, just because I'm just kind of laid back and I just didn't make the time for it. But don't be like me. Be better than me. Study harder than me. But as far as my Nclex experience, so when I got there I took my Nclex on 12 o'clock, so I got there at 11:30. They do the fingerprint scan. They signed me in. Honestly, it was only 2 other people. It was me and 2 other ladies that, of course, I didn't know. They were all super nice at the testing center. They offered me earplugs, which I did put them in because I did wear them when I was taking my exit HESI too. And for me, it just helps. So about my Nclex, so I go in, she logs me in, everything is cool. Now, if you're watching videos about Nclex, you will hear people who pass say like, oh, I got like 31, select all that applies, 29, 33, like in that range. I was going to write how many select all that applies that I got, just so I could kind of see where I was. So when you do go in to take the Nclex, in the corner where the timer is, they give you an option to turn your timer down, like so you can't see it. That is what I did because I don't like to see anything clicking. And also when I was doing Uworld, I practiced never looking at which question I was at, because if it doesn't cut off at 75, I don't want to know. So I started taking my test. The very first question I got was a select all that applies. So I was taking my test. I didn't look at how many questions I was on, and then all of a sudden I looked. I don't know why, but I did look. I was on question 68 and I was like, oh God, please let this test cut off soon. But when I looked at my sheet of how many select all that applies, I had only gotten like 16 so far. So I was like, not doing good. But I was like, I'm not gonna let that bother me. Like, God is in control. I've done everything that I can do, and I have to have faith that he's going to see me through this. That was question 68. So I keep going. I keep answering questions. I'm not looking at the clock anymore. I get a few more select all that applies, and then it cuts off. When it cuts off, I look up and I'm at question 77. I look down at all my select all that applies, and I was at like 18. I only had 18 select all that applies. And I wasn't really sure if I had got that last question right or wrong, but that's what happens. Just, and you know, when you guys take the Nclex, you'll feel it. It just cuts off, and they ask you if you want to do a survey. Not a survey. They asked you to do practice questions. Now, I did not do the practice questions, but I did do the survey at the end because it's mandatory. I didn't leave feeling defeated, but I didn't feel like I had conquered either. So I was kind of like, I don't know. When I got to the car, I left my phone in the car. I had a missed call from one of my friends. We had a really long, good conversation. And I live an hour and 45 minutes from the nearest testing center. So I had about 2 hours to go home. And then I couldn't go straight home because I had some things I had to do when I got back to town. So I ended up doing the Pearson view trick, which I'm not going to do a video on that because it's so many good videos already out, but I will link a video or put a pop-up of a video that I recommend that shows you how to do it the right way. So the Pearson view trick is basically like a trick to see if you pass the Nclex on the same day. They say wait 2 hours until after Nclex sends you, Pearson view sends you your confirmation email, like now that you're done with the Nclex, this is what you can do. They send you an email and you're supposed to wait 2 hours after that. I waited 4 hours and I got the good pop-up, so I was kind of happy because I was like, oh great, I passed, but I was still kind of anxious. So I stayed up to midnight hoping that at midnight that my license would show. It did not show. I checked it again at 7 o'clock in the morning after my test. It did not show, and then I checked it again at 8:15 in the morning and it was there. So that was my experience. I'm done. I'm a registered nurse and I'm really excited. I called my job because of course they want to know, they want to make sure that their new nurse is an actual nurse. So I called to let them know that I had passed my Nclex and that I will be starting with them Monday. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my videos before, but I'm actually working at an ICU step down that I did my preceptorship at. So I'm really excited. I got all my scrubs, and luckily for me, it's such a blessing. They actually don't require a certain color, so I was able to get some really affordable figs from this online figs marketplace thing. And I mean, like, they were like half the prices they are on the website, so I couldn't resist. But that is it. That was my experience with the Nclex. It is over. I'm a licensed nurse, and I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have any questions about the Nclex, I'm no expert, but you know, you feel free to drop them below. One thing I can say that really helped me was I did the Uworld questions, and I was feeling really good about that. I put it less on me and more in God's hand. If you're not religious or if you don't believe in God, I don't know what to tell you, but that's what worked for me, to really know that I'm just doing the best I can to follow what God has for me. I prayed and I sought out prayer. I didn't tell a lot of people that I was taking my Nclex. I did not. I told my friends and a close family, but I didn't tell a lot of people. I don't know why. I've always been that way. Like, we're in the process of getting some other good news together and nobody knows, just because I'm on YouTube, so I guess I'm not private, but good things that happen to me, I like to keep it close to the chest. Except for this, I was really happy about the Nclex. So I sought prayer, I sought God, I practiced Uworld, I followed Nexusnursing on TikTok. Also, it took less than 24 hours for my name to show up on the board of nursing. Now, I know it is different for every state, but that is what happened at my state. So I think that is it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. You can reach out to me through Instagram. I don't know why y'all don't want to leave comments below, but y'all will hit me on Instagram. But I love that, you know, that's okay. I also have my email address down below. Nobody ever reaches out to me on my email, but I put it down there just in case. Everybody doesn't have Instagram and everybody doesn't want to leave a public comment. So I put my email down there as well. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.